What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dog back again with a review show. I hope everyone's fit and well. And yes, we're going to talk about Nottingham Forest's defeat against Liverpool yesterday. If anyone's got thoughts about the game, please put in the comment section and we'll talk about it. Before we do, if you're new to my channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and comment below, people. Like I said, what's your thoughts on the game? Before I do, want to give a special mention to the Nottingham Forest leaders. They won on penalty shootouts. Well done for the Forest leaders. In the comments, everyone watched it. And panel, did you watch it? It was a great, good game. It was a really good game. Sharks and Forest girls. Next up, the man himself, Des Oldham. Well done for doing the London Marathon. Well done as well for that. But I'm not saying Des, I'm saying K. Well done, K. Well done, K, for doing it. I'm not giving Des any credit because he's not been on the show for a while. So hopefully he's done his London Marathon. He can come back on the show. So people in the comments, DM hashtag Des on Twitter. Get back on DoreOnTour. I've had enough of him now. So people, get Des back on. Right, people, let's talk about the show. Let's talk about the panel. First up, we've got we'll go backwards. The Welshman, because I don't know if you know, his Wi-Fi is 10 years later. So, Steve, how you doing, Steve?
Yeah, I'm really good. I can't wait for the playoffs next week when we play Huddersfield. That's going to be really good. Oh, sorry. Just yeah, I'm good, Ben. I hope Jay and Dylan is good as well.
Oh, good. Next up, we've got the man himself, Dylan. How you doing, Dylan?
Fine and dandy, you?
Fine and dandy. What you want? You're a flower or something?
Yeah, I'll be whatever you want.
And next up, we've got the journo man, the man I really hate so much, the man himself, Jay. How you doing, Jay?
I'm all right, thank you. I'm not too bad. Thank you for inviting me on.
No, I didn't invite you. I was just desperate. That's how it is.
Fair enough. No, fair enough. 1-0 to Door. Yeah, fair enough.
And as well, people, and if no one knows what this is, I've got my diamond play button showing for the first time. So if any biddings want to come on, please bid, because Dylan needs a hip transplant. So if people want to come on that,
cheeky git.
Who's giving in?
You know what?
You've had your Weetabix this morning, haven't you, Door?
So people, if anyone wants to bid for this for Dylan's hair transplant, please do.
Wow.
Do you know what, man? I've known you for 30, what? Oh, I don't know, 20 odd years. Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Dylan.
Do you know what? I'm going to send an application form to somewhere else to see if they'll have me.
I'll help you. I'll help you fill out the form. That's all right, Dylan. No, Dylan. People are trying to say, I do apologize, Dylan. No, I don't. Right, let's go through the comments.
I could do with a bit of Jamie's.
Oh.
What did I do? Why am I being
I'm just saying I could do with a bit of your ear, mate. You've got
you can borrow it, but then it'll expose mine, mate. So
Dylan, you can have some of my beard if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, days. Right, let me go through the chat. This is for Mohammed. We had a bit of fight, but defeat. Hopefully, we can beat Brighton on Wednesday night, and Brighton are out of the FA Cup. And Manchester United penalties. Yeah, Brighton lost to Man United on penalties, but Brighton played well, to be fair. But Sully March, he missed a point in penalty. Also, I hope we stay positive. Let's hope we take positives from the Liverpool game. I hope Brighton dedicate on Wednesday. Forest staying or be positive. We are going to stay positive as well. This is Paul. How are you doing, Paul? I hope you're well. Thank you for saying that, top man. Raz Daz, how you doing? Evening, guys. Ricky says, "Shivering after awful silence." We'll talk about throughout the show, throughout the players as well. Ricky says, "Get Des back on the show." Ricky, just all you got to do if you're on Twitter, hashtag Des, get back on DoreOnTour. Now he's finished his London Marathon. As well, people, if you do want to donate to Des' London Marathon, it's in the description. So if you can, please do. That will help. There's a lot. Eve, good evening, Dor, Jay, Dylan, and Steve. Hope you are well. 100% believe we will play like we did yesterday. Next games, and to remember to we'll survive relegation. Definitely. Drinking Seed Packer, Chris Dor. What's that mean? For swap? Yeah, no. Come on, up a bit, people. If you want this, come on, get it's an auction. It's an auction, people. If you want it, put it in the comments as well. Rob says the way we pressed second half was brilliant. We need to beat a wounded Brighton massive in a few days, 100%. Right, let's go for the first chat. I'm going to go for you, Jay. You was at the game with me. What's your thoughts as well? People in the comments, what was your thoughts about the game? I'll go through them. Jay, what's your thoughts on the game?
Well, I'm always like disappointed if we lose because naturally you want to win, and in a time when it's like relegation potentially, looming, you want to be getting points. So obviously disappointed we didn't get a point, minimum. I felt we could have actually got 3 really if it wasn't for a couple of I would say basic errors. Failing to mark your men is the big one. I mean, the amount of respect that we gave to Diogo Jota to get that second goal was unreal. To be able to actually take on 3 touches, 2 on his knee before having a shot like that it's unforgivable, really. But I don't want to be too negative because I think actually overall we pressed really well when we lost the ball, which I don't think we actually, misplaced too many passes yesterday. I think we've improved on that respect too. I think we went and won it back and we pressed really, really well. Awani presented that kind of physical dominance up top, really, really made it difficult for Konate and Virgil van Dijk to kind of to defend against. And then the midfield was brilliant. We packed it really well. And I thought that you had the kind of enforcers in Mangala. And, Freuler didn't have his best game, but he was there, and Morgan Gibbs-White and Danilo just providing that service to Awani. And the defence was, solid until the kind of the unfortunate times when they weren't. So, I would say actually it was a positive performance. Just, gutted we couldn't really get more from it in terms of points.
And before I get to Lynn, there's one more I forgot to give a massive shout out to as well. Well done to Sam Perkins standing against MOD, completing the London Marathon. Yeah, well done to Sam as well. He's a massive fan. He does watch my show as well. I met him at Arsenal Way, and fantastic, Sam. So well done, Sam, on doing the London Marathon. Dylan, what was your thoughts on the game?
Thought it was a much more positive game. The positivity of the players was a lot more up for it. I think me personally, first half wise, I think we're still making mistakes passing wise, basic wise. It seemed to be a bit of times where we were getting the ball and getting a bit nervous with it and trying to find wherever we could go, or there was a couple of things in the box that was going where you could just think, just oof it up the field, and they were just trying to play it out. And it's like, no, just get it away and stuff like that. But we held on first half. Do you know what I mean? With them, I think they had 86% possession in the first half or something like that. I think we had 1 shot on target. They had 7 or 10 or something like that. But second half, Cooper must come out, said something. But obviously, that first goal went in. Then they just seemed to step up. Do you know what I mean? And the attitude, you can't fault the attitude. That's the kind of attitude we've all wanted to see for the last few games. You know what I mean? Where they just seem to fight for everything. They were going for everything, and it's like a 1 year, like Jay says. Up top, that's what you wanted him to do against Maguire the other week. When Maguire was on a booking, that's what you wanted him to do, to hassle him, to hound him. You know what I mean? And I thought he did that well. Do you know what I mean? But yet again, do you know what I mean? Sloppy defending, switching off, giving players too much respect. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they are Liverpool. Yeah, they've got great players, but do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're all footballers. You just can't do that. Do you know what I mean? And like we say, I'm disappointed. If someone would have said to me before the game, I'd have took a point all day long. Do you know what I mean? But after that game, you think to yourself, well, if they hadn't made them mistakes, do you know what I mean? We could have come away with 3 points. We should have come away with a point. But, do you know what I mean? Let's not dwell on it too much. Let's hope that positivity from the players and that hard working, which we know they can do, they can bring that into Wednesday night. If they play like that for the next few games, maybe the next 6 games, we've got every chance. But if we slip back into our old ways, then there'll be no chance. But let's just keep our fingers crossed, go to the next game and see what we can do.
Last but not least, Stephen, what was your thoughts on everything?
Yeah, I agree with a lot what Dylan just said. I've got 2 emotions now watching Forest the last couple of months. Yesterday I was disappointed. Against Villa, I was annoyed. That's the big difference. I'm just picking the Villa game out because that game, up until the Shelby mistake, we looked comfortable getting a point. But yesterday I was disappointed. I thought there was points there to be had. Even the point, or like Dylan said, 3 points are up for grabs.
Yeah.
That's the mixed emotion. I rather us have a go at these teams and come away. I've said this all season, Ben. I'd rather lose 4-3, 3-2s. I'd rather do that than just be so negative. I'd rather that. And it was just so gutting. Like, we were a crossbar away from getting a potential point if our chance dipped under the bar from Johnson.
Yeah.
I thought the players looked more up for it. The way we celebrated the goals, the players looked together. They really wanted it. We were just more hungry. But if you had said to me before the game, we were lost 3-2, and the 3 goals we conceded, which Cooper echoed this point in his comments on Match of the Day last night. If we conceded 3 set-piece goals, I would have gone no chance. I thought Salah would have ripped us apart, and Jota and these players, and Gapco. If you had said to me before the game, we lose by 3 set pieces, I would have gone no chance. But we did. And we just switched off for them 3 moments, and we get punished in this league. You know, and like Jay said, you can't give Jota that much time. That's Sunday League stuff. That is. That's not Premiership level defending. I'm sorry, you can't defend like that at this level. You just get punished by anyone in this league. Otherwise, yeah. Oh, Ben, I actually enjoyed the game as well, which is key. I enjoyed it.
It was really good. It was a good game to watch. It was a good game.
I know. Unlike Villa away, Spurs away, I was so depressed. And that's what I'm saying. I was annoyed in them games. Yesterday, I was just disappointed.
100%. I think I'm asking you, Dylan. I'm going to ask Jay. And people comment about this. I know it's a good talking point about Brendan Johnson being on the bench. People comment, what? How did you feel? Was it right to put Johnson on the bench? Yes or no? Let me ask you, Dill. What was your thoughts on when you seen Brendan on the bench?
Surprised, but why not? Do you know what I mean? Give him a rest. Do you know what I mean? He's been running up and down most of the season, doing what he does and stuff like that. So giving him a rest. Maybe he needed it. Maybe I don't know. We don't know, but we'll never know about that. But yeah, I thought it was a risky move, because if the result would have gone a different way, and like everyone expected, as kept saying, oh, we're going to get a drum in, it's going to be 6-7-0. You know what I mean? What they did to Leeds and stuff like that. I think then it would have gone a bit more negative. Why would you leave him on the bench? But you can kind of see now, it's kind of like before the game, if you look at it, you think to yourself, well, we've got a bad away record. You'd very, very unexpected to come away from it with 3 points. So, do you know what I mean? Use this time now to start resting a few players, because the next 2 home games are crucial. Do you know what I mean? So, do you know what I mean? So if that was resting Johnson, just to give him a bit, just take a step back. Do you know what I mean? I'll put you on, but I want to get you refreshed, ready for Wednesday night. Then, do you know what I mean? Obviously, him missing probably at times he probably could have helped us a bit more. Do you know what I mean, going forward? But you can't fault the rest of the lads what they were trying to do and what they did. Like Cooper said in his interview, they had a plan, they stuck to it, and it near enough paid off.
Let me ask you, Stephen. I'm sorry, George, let me ask you, Stephen. Like, Morgan's White, for me personally, is one of his best games in a Forest shirt. I think if like with Johnson on the bench, it felt Morgan's White got more pressure on him, and I think it helped him, didn't it, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, am I back?
You're back. Yeah,
obviously. Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah.
Johnson and our team, obviously, we're far stronger. But it's one of the things to have good on the bench as well with Johnson yesterday. But like you make a good point there with Gibbs White. Maybe he likes that more added pressure. Maybe when him and Johnson on the same pitch, they cancel each other out. If that makes sense. Like maybe they trying too hard. Maybe they're trying too much. Maybe they feel it's them two who has to carry the team forward together. And maybe they like sometimes doesn't come off to get, you know what I'm trying to say? It's like they not one-upmanship. It's more they are probably the 2 best players in our squad. So maybe resting Johnson yesterday was it was an interesting one, but it made us more compact by sacrificing Johnson. This solid our midfield up, but playing him, it does give us an outlet. So it's just getting that fine balance. But I agree, second half especially, Gibbs White came to the fore. he really going forward. It reminded me of the old Gibbs just around the Christmas time, just after Christmas. And hopefully now this next 6 games he can just carry it forward because he showed the passion in that goal as well. That is how much it meant to him as well. So, and he took this goal well. If you know that goal, it was a hard skill. The ball dropping that far to keep it low. I know it took a couple of deflection on the way through, but to keep that low and hard, that could have been a complete air shot or skied it. But to be fair play to him, he took this chance well, you know.
Jay, what's your thoughts on Brennan and Muggins White? Like Brennan was on the bench, Muggins White played better without him. What's your thoughts on everything?
I think that one thing I highlighted was that Forest have been overrunning the midfield in nearly every Premier League game that they've played. And that was a massive issue. I don't think you can just play with 2 midfielders and then 1 in front, maybe in the Premier League, unless you're a top team that has that level of quality. I just think you do need to pack it out a little bit more in that kind of region, especially when you're in the position that Forest are. So, it's never easy to take your top scorer off, but obviously they wanted to experiment, try something a little bit different, and it did okay. But I can imagine that he'll probably come back and, find his place again in the squad on Wednesday. But it's good to try out different things, I suppose. And, obviously I don't know if there was a fitness thing that kept him out of it or whether he just wanted to pack out the midfield a little bit more. Either way, it did pretty well, didn't it? So, but by no means does that mean that Brennan Johnson has no place in the squad, because I think he's been excellent this season. But it's just what his role will be come Wednesday night, because maybe he's going to change it up a little bit more. You just don't know. And it'd be interesting to see whether maybe Freuler, they make a change with him in the midfield as well. And what I was saying is after the game is that, could you just imagine how good that midfield would be if they had Ryan Yates in there? And that's in no disrespect to Freuler, but I just think that Ryan Yates in that midfield, it'd just be even more of a game changer, So, but it's good to experiment with different things, and that's it.
I'm going to go for the comments as well. Nick says that Ario bicycle kick was so close to come off. It was. That was like I nearly went crazy. I thought it went in, but
that would have hit his shin. That would have hit his shin. It would have gone in.
That would have gone in. But I was going. I thought it was.
He hit it too flush, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought it was in. All 5 fans who was there thought that was in. But again, another chance, another one again. Another one from Nick. Cooper was too concerned about the move for the game. Chris even says, "Evening, Chris from America." People in the comments, where are you watching this stream? Put in the comments as well. Evening, Truths. Moral victory yesterday. Got to build on the downfall of home stretch. Come on, you Reds. Rebel says, despite the result, the performance will give players much needed confidence. 100%. Rashisu, how you Rashiv? It's still tight at the bottom. We can do wonders. At least we are fighting at least 1 point. In a Brighton game, we'll be okay, but we have to go for a win. Let me ask you, Dylan. Like, I think this is what Steve said. The Spurs game and the Villa game was awful, but we showed fight. This is what we've lacked all season, especially away from home. Fight. Do you think Forest they need to do the same thing what we did yesterday for the rest of the 6 games? In the comments as well. What do you think as well? Dylan, carry on. You do that before I go for the comments.
Yeah, well, definitely, you need to. I want to see that fight from the first minute to the 90th. Now, this is 6 games now. Do you know what I mean? We've been saying it for the last few games. Oh, it's 10 games, it's 9 games, it's 8 games. Do you know what I mean? Now, we are 6 games out. Yeah, we're second from bottom, but we're still in it. Do you know what I mean? We're not adrift. We've not got 2 points adrift. Do you know what I mean? We're not mega adrift like normally you'd find at this time of the season. Teams were like 4 or 5 points adrift. Oh, do you know what I mean? Can they do it? We're still in it. We're probably a win away from getting out of it. Do you know what I mean? Regardless of other results. So me personally, I want to see that fight. That fight. Do you know what I mean? I don't think anybody, any of the Forest fans down here anywhere would fault if it was to happen and we got relegated, but at least turn around and say we fought. Do you know what I mean? They put everything on the line to try and do it. Do you know what I mean? So if we're going to do it, you might as well go down fighting. If you think you've got nothing to lose, now what is there to lose? You can try and defend and try and get a draw out of a game, or do you know what I mean? Forget it now. Do you know what I mean? We let's go for it and see what happens. Yesterday, and you and Jay were at the game, and Stephen, do you know what I mean? We was all watching it and that. Who would have thought? Did you realistically think we would go to Anfield and play the way we did and come away? We're literally sat here talking about how disappointed we are. We could have got a point, but we're really disappointed. We could have got 3.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That is a massive. I'm not sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, we were mega, we're awesome." Oh yeah, because we wasn't. Defensively, it was a shambles because they let 3 goals in, and there were soft goals. If you really think about it, do you know what I mean? But that's gone. That's thingy. We've got a team that need now to fight, and that's all it's going to take. If they fight and do it, brilliant. If they fight and just miss that, we'll still love them, but at least we'll walk away and go, fair enough. We tried, didn't work.
That's how I felt after the game. After I put my post review with Jay as well, we fighted after the game, and for like these weird days, it's good to see different grounds and a lot, but I want to see a performance, and I want to see a team fight. And yesterday we just fight. Jay, Steve, do you echo what Dylan says?
Yeah, I think the saying goes you're looking for is don't go down with a whimper. You know, if we lose out by 1 point, then we get relegated. Yes, we'd be gutted, but at least we're not going to be, like Dylan said, cut the drift, and we go down with like 8 or 10 points adrift, and we just go down with that whimper. I rather just
that Derby.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't a whimper. That was like in the wind, wasn't it? It was far from the wind. That was, but yeah, it's just like I got more points for my driving license than they had in one season. Like some of the tackles we put in yesterday, and just like Taiwo roughing up Kwate, Nico, who I thought was our best player, put that tackle in the first half, and I seen the Forest fans behind him. Just that one tackle just lifts the team. I don't know if you remember, Ben or Jay. He made the tackle in the corner and he won the goal kick. And you celebrate like it was a goal. The fans were going, Nico. And they were like, Nico. But it's just them kind of tackles that lifts the crowd and lifts the players. And the players, especially the individual players who put them tackles in, listens to that. And the players feed off it. And this is what I've been saying all along. In these big games in the City ground, you hit these players hard and you make the crowd. That's why I love Felipe, because Felipe will just knock these guys over. He's got no respect for anyone, that guy. He don't care if it's Rashford or it's Kane, or he'll smash them and just get on with it. He's got we shouldn't be paying respect now to these teams. Screw them. Go to Chelsea. I don't care if their squad is worth £500 billion or whatever. Just go, get stuck into them and just get in their faces. That's all I want. Fight. Just run your bollocks off.
Another massive shout out. I met Nico Williams' dad before the game. Ian, massive fan of this channel, and he loves Steve as well. He's with a little, but yeah, shout out to Ian as well. But yeah, he loves the channel. So Steve, if you're watching, thank you for coming. He's on the vlog as well, people. So if you do want to watch the vlog after the show, please do. Top guy, and we had a good conversation about his Nico, and as well, let's talk to Jay about it, because I miss Ian said it to me as well. If I'm allowed to say it, Nico is better playing as a wing back than playing as a 4-4-2. And again, I think it was one of his best games as well against Liverpool. People in the comments, how did you feel about Nico Williams played? Because he's been given so much stick, deservedly as well. I'm not going to put it. He hasn't. He's been fantastic all season. But he hasn't. Yesterday was a game that if he played like that from now to the end of the season, we've got a good player. What's your thoughts on it, Jay?
Well, it was his best game in the Forest shirt. And there's no ifs or buts about it. That was his best game in the Forest shirt. He struggled to find his confidence since joining Forest. He's 22. He's playing in the Prem. You know, a lot of people at 22 would dream of playing professional football. Bear in mind, playing in the Premier League. So it's a big step up for him. And, he has struggled. You can't deny it. And filling in for Serge Aurier has been so difficult, especially in an unfamiliar position as a fullback in some respects. So, he definitely suits the wing-back role more, and he's still struggled in some areas with that, but he's been a lot better in recent weeks. And it's just refreshing to see him come back and play as well as he did and put in that man of the match performance for me. I gave him a 9 out of 10 yesterday in terms of my player ratings. I thought he was excellent. To have the audacity to take the shot on from, for that equaliser was just excellent. The tackles, as Steve said, that he made were just excellent, really rallied the troops. I just think I just thought he was excellent. The mentality was right. He was confident. He wasn't by one margin even remotely scared of the fact that he was playing against his former teammates and, at such a big ground like Anfield. So, yeah, I just thought it was really nice to see. Obviously, he needs to keep it up and stay consistent, and that's not guaranteed. But, I think with a performance like that, you're bound to stay more confident. And I just hope that kind of radiates onto the other lads as well, and they can build collective confidence. Because, as we've said throughout the podcast, I think that although we didn't win, great performance, and Nico was a massive, massive part of that.
Then we've got to talk about it. The set pieces. That's what killed us, didn't it? That's what killed us, and you can't hide behind it and say we was great, but that's the downside for the whole season. Set pieces, not concentrating, and that's what happens when we're in the Premier League. Into them.
Yeah, definitely. It's players switching off, and it's surely. Do you know what I mean? I don't pretend to be an expert, but surely every man's supposed to have a man. Do you know what I mean? So there's a couple of them goals how they just managed to be in their own space and score. That's what got me. So do you know what I mean? So it's like it was just for me sloppy defending, and that. Do you know what I mean? To score 2 minutes after half time, you're not switched on, and you've got to be switched on in the Premier League every single second, because teams, it don't matter who they are, they can just punish you like that. That's it. Do you know what I mean? So all that hard work in the first half has just literally gone because people have just switched off. So that has to get better, and hopefully they can address that in the next day or so before the next game, and it don't happen again. So hopefully we won't see it again.
Jay, we talk about, and everyone was so excited for Newcastle coming back, but for me, I personally thought it was a little bit erratic yesterday. What's your thoughts on Newcastle? And as well, I forgot, and I saw a comment with Nick. Down for outside with McKenna's collarbone, and we'll talk about McKenna in a minute. But what's your thoughts on the defence, Jay? Like Nakate, Ratty, McKenna now injured, Philippe being Philippe, doesn't take no nonsense. What's your thoughts on the back three?
I think it's actually a really good back three, and we did make some mistakes, and the defence can't be blamed for all of them because Freud left a man for one of them as well. But the other two, you can blame them for, and whether Freuler should really be marking that person, I don't know. But I think that it's a solid unit. I think Niakate is a massive part of that, and I think he's captain material at some point, but not yet.
He was captain for Mars when he captain for the German side.
Yeah, he was captain for Mars. So he's gone from being the captain at 26, to having a long-term injury, and he's had a bit of a difficult year. But I've got no doubt that he'll one day be up there, and he'll be one of the most important players in our team, and potentially captain material, as I say. But at the moment, as you say, a little bit erratic at times, a bit of a hothead, but I do believe it all comes from a place of passion. And he just really wants Forest to succeed. And obviously, when you're so passionate about something and in the moment, you're quite fired up and you make the odd mistake, and that's unfortunate. But I do think that some of his antics, they all come from a good place. But yeah, just a couple of mistakes yesterday, but there's nothing he can't learn from. It's a very different game, that he's playing in the Premier League, the best league in the world. And it was always going to be difficult, but he's learning on the job, made a couple of mistakes, moved forward, and just focus on Wednesday. But those throw-ins are absolutely excellent. You've got to say, you know what? I used to think that corners were, one of the only chances at kind of end time of the game to get a goal. for Forest at times, but we can't seem to beat the first man. I think I'd rather have a throw-in than a corner, genuinely. I think with Niakhate's throws, they get further and they're more effective. I just think they're excellent. And it led to a goal, didn't it, yesterday? So you've got to give credit for
yesterday. Klopp mentioned that in his post interview after about the throws. Yeah. He mentioned it. He said we knew about him, but he said
about him.
Yeah, and he was just like basically trying to say that's all we had. But he said they were effective. Every time they threw it in the box, that throw come in the box, it always landed on one of their heads.
Got to give credit to Carter as well. Stephen, did your dog want to say something, Stephen?
Say it again.
Did your dog want to say something? I heard the dog in the background. Did he want to say something?
No, he's going to sleep now.
Look, let's talk about another player, Taiwo Awoniyi. And again, that chance, the bicycle kick, but all around his performance, I think with that again, we've missed that. Someone just bullying the centre back, and I think he did a good job on Canute Kanate, I think his name is. But we've missed that bit, haven't we, Steve? All season.
Yep. He showed it against Southampton away, didn't he? His best performance in the shirt, and he goes and gets injured. That just sums our season up. And he was hitting his form then, wasn't he? And he came back, and what was his first game back? I can't remember. I know he came on a sub, but his first game back, he was a bit off. But I can't remember. It was a couple of weeks ago now. Was it Villa away, maybe? I'm not sure.
No, it wasn't Villa away. It was before that. Leeds. No, Wolves. Yeah, Wolves, yeah.
I agree with what Dylan said earlier, and he touched on it. The Man United game last week, how we didn't target Maguire with either Johnson or Taiwo, because the way Kwate hit it. Like, what I notice at the moment, we're not targeting. Every team in this league got weaknesses, bar Man City. But Man City can get at if you press them hard. You've got to really press them. They're the exception. But every team in this league is a weakness. But at the moment, we don't seem to be exploiting it enough. Yes, yesterday, he really roughed up Kwate, but last week, we should have really targeted Maguire as well. We need to start using these players to their strengths. Taiwo should be backing in like he did to Kwate. I loved him in the second half. We pumped it up to him, came long ball from the back, and he backed into Kwate, and Kwate just basically ripped his shirt off him. But Kwate just couldn't get any, and Taiwo just got back up and shrugged him off, and he won the free kick. But that's what we need. We need something to alleviate the pressure to carry us up the pitch. And hopefully now in these last 6 games, he can do that. I think we need to start him maybe every game now, I think, Taiwo. I think it's just a physical presence. I've said this, Ben, as well. When we lost Kwate and Taiwo, even Yates, we needed them physical players, them in-your-face, physical, dominant players. It's great having ballers like Gibbs-White and Lingard and Johnson, but we need physicality in that team as well. Because if you look throughout the league, nearly every team have got that physical presence. You look at Bournemouth, they've got Solanke and Billing, the big units, and even they got big, Declan Rice is a unit. You look down at Everton, have got Onana in midfield, who, I got to say, lads, right, Everton, I've spoken to a lot of fans lately, and they are really worried about Everton, so we got to target Everton. And Leeds are looking poor at the moment, so we're not out of it.
I've seen the Leeds fan base, they're not happy.
Everton are even worse, mate. Everton are like literally saying they're down. They're preparing for championship football. So we got to capitalize on this. Everyone's what I find before Jay or Dylan goes next. I just got to say one thing. Everyone seems to be focusing on Forest, like we're the only team down there, and we're the only team lack of confidence, and we're in a mess. Leicester when they first came in 9 games yesterday. When's the last? I know Leeds beat us, but Leeds are on and off. Leeds have conceded 11 goals at home in 2 games. Not even we've been that bad. Everton are shocking. They my mate texted me yesterday. He couldn't believe he kept Holgate on. Yes, he was on a yellow card, then he got sent off. These teams are doing things around us, but the focus seems to be on Forest. It's like this obsession that everyone's like just focused, and I'm keep reminding these people like there are other teams around us, mind, who are in this mess as well. It's just baffling. It's just we're just massive, aren't we? I don't believe that.
We're massive. That's all it is. But
it's just people don't want. The thing is, this is what's going to happen. Right? Hopefully, if we survive and we get in the Premier League, right? Personally, Cooper for me, Cooper should get manager of the season for what he would have done, right? But the thing is, you've got all the pundits, you've got everyone. 30 players brought in. Do you know what I mean? They don't like the fact that Forest had to. All these interviews I'm still hearing, Forest had to brought 30 players in, blah, 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 like this. If they did the research, like a good journo, like Jay would.
Hey,
Don't give Jay
Well, anyway,
props.
Right, but I'm just saying, if they did their research right and realised that Forest had to buy 30 players to compete, to even get a team out or a squad out, they'd know the real story. But the problem is, the reason I feel that all these people target Forest is because if we survive, it'll put egg on all the faces. Because we went up, we literally had to buy a brand new squad, and no one's ever done it. Do you know what I mean? Fulham tried to do it and went straight back down. So it's kind of, you're upsetting the apple cart.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's why I think a lot of them are targeting us, because everyone, do you know what I mean? After the World Cup, we come back and we won all them games, and we were what, 14th, floating above there. No one said anything. No one said, look at Forest, the 14th. Listening to them idiots the other day on Talk Sport with that Forest fan, turning around saying, Bournemouth and Fulham are proper showing you up. But they don't do the research and think, well, Fulham's just went up anyway with their squad and added to it. Bournemouth literally bought all their players last January, so they got promoted, so they added to it. Forest got promoted,
got 2 months,
but then
1 month to have it.
Yeah, but then Forest got promoted, and they had to buy a whole new squad. So that's, for me, why. I know we're going off topic a bit, but that's why.
It's okay.
That's why I think these this is frustrating. These pundits are proper honours because they don't want to see it happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They don't. And you know what? And I will say this now, and a lot of people might not agree, but I like to listen to Jim White, Simon Jordan in the morning.
I do.
And when he was on about it the other day, and these clickbaiters again putting out, Simon Jordan turned around and went, Nottingham Forest, they're feeble away from home. But the clickbaiters didn't put that. They put Nottingham Forest are feeble. Do you get where I'm coming from? So it's generated. So it's like, I think they've got an agenda because they don't like the way Forest have to do it. You know this, I know that, because we know exactly what's going off. Do you know what I mean? I think they had 9 players contracted to the club, and then have to go, right, okay, we need a squad. What are we going to do? So for me, that's why I think everyone homes in on us. And if we do survive, it's literally, do you know what I mean? Middle finger. See you later. We'll start again.
That's why I put that thing out about Neville. He annoyed me last week. And some United fans are saying to me, he didn't mean it this way, he meant it that way. But what annoyed me, in one breath, he was saying, Forest has spent 150 million on this, 30 players, blah, blah. And then the next breath, you're saying, Man United need to spend 250 million pounds in the summer and buy this player. I'm thinking, hang on now. You're criticising us for spending 150 million, which we need, like Dylan said, we needed the players. But in the next breath, he's saying, Man United need to spend close to 250 million pounds to be competitive. That's fine. You can spend that. United can do it, but little Forest can't do it. It just annoys me. It really grips me.
It's like I was speaking to a Forest fan at half time. It's I might get in trouble for this. So I might clip it. It's the Bayer's top 6 teams.
Yeah,
that's all about. That's all the Premier League about. The top 6 teams. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
Get by it. They just completely just see it. I agree with you, Ben. It's not afraid of saying it. It's just getting. I think it's emphasised more for us lads now because we're in the Premier League. When we're out of the Premier League, we just see it as, that's the Premier League. We like to watch it as armchair supporters. But now we're actually in it. It sticks out more. It's in your face. It's everywhere. It's on Twitter, Facebook, on Sky Sports, on Talk Sport. It's everywhere. It's just shoved down your throat.
People comments. How do you feel about it? What everyone's talking about? Do you think with all the social media platforms like Talk Sport or Sky Sports, how's everyone's feelings about it? Put in the comments in the comment section as well. Jay, I've got. I love Midfield. I'm a fan of him, but for the last month, so he's not been great. Maybe he plays well for Switzerland. He comes to Forest and he's not been great. I think two of the goals was his fault. My personal opinion, but do you think Steve Cooper's playing him wrong, or do you think it's just him? Like,
I mean, I'm completely unqualified to say if he's playing him wrong in our side, because I don't see him 6 days a week, and I don't know how Cooper views him in terms of his importance and role in the squad. So it's he's not done it what we expected him to do coming here, and obviously playing at Atalanta for as long as he did, and being as good as he was there, by the way, playing in the Champions League and being part of some pretty big campaigns for them in Italy. But obviously how many players come over from Italy and don't quite do as well? That's another factor to it. But then, you do see him go out on international duty and play a real blinder. So, yeah, of course, you could probably wonder whether we're playing him out of position, which, it's been a question that I've definitely asked you on a few occasions on the way back from games. But then also it's like, well, does Cooper just feel more comfortable playing in there? Does he trust him? Or, because it comes back to one thing that people used to say quite a lot. He does a lot off the ball. When he's on it, what's he doing? Is he giving away possession? Is he breaking down a counter attack? And I really like him as well. Think he's a great guy, and I'm sure there's a lot of potential there still to do well for Forest. And maybe he's being played in the wrong position. But I wouldn't have him as captain for me. I think he's got a good mentality or whatever, but no, I think someone like Felipe is my kind of captain, or Joe Worrell, for example, and I'm sure we'll talk about Joe Worrell briefly at some point, but just doesn't get the recognition he deserves. I don't think so. But yeah, to the point, I just don't think Freuler cuts it. And if it was me, I would swap him out for someone else in that midfield. But the real question is, who do you put in his place if you're going to keep the same amount of people in midfield?
It was next question about Joe Worrell. Again, I thought he was all right yesterday, and then when I used to, like I said, he's been getting loads of criticism. Every time I mention Joe Worrell, I say, because I don't destroy him like other Forest fans do because he's homegrown and blah blah blah. But I thought he played all right yesterday. What's your feeling on Joe Worrell yesterday, Steve?
Yeah, I thought the fact that we're not talking about anything negative, he had an alright game. I couldn't pick a fault really. I think the 3 goals we conceded the first one was, I think, Iacate. I've seen a lot of blame put on him, but I don't think he could really help with that. But it kind of hit him in the back or behind.
Yeah, I think he didn't know. He didn't know.
And in fact, if you're going to pin the blame on anybody, it could be more Lodi, because Lodi was outjumped by Jota.
Can I say something about it? If that was Joe Worrell, right, who did that mistake, he would have got absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, he would have.
He would have absolutely hammered.
Yeah, I agree with that. Second goal was, I don't know if, Jay, you mentioned the Jota goal earlier. Did you watch Match of the Day last night?
I couldn't bring myself to be honest.
It's all right. No, it's just they cherry-picked the goal. I know that is another subject, what they did yesterday. To me, they didn't talk Forest up enough myself, but that's another subject. But they did cherry-pick that goal, and Freuler was at fault because he went drifting into the line, and the line was like jagged, like this one straight, and he was like looking around he was like, who am I picking up? Next thing, Jota just runs around him, and he picks up the space. And then the third goal, Freuler was at fault as well, because Salah used his body to get in front of him and put it in. So Worrell did nothing wrong. Did nothing wrong in my eyes. Didn't get found out. He didn't get destroyed by Jota down that side or whoever else came on. In fact, Salah didn't really. He didn't really do it.
He made a good tackle when he came on, though, to rally the fans. That was a great tackle.
He just ran the first 5 minutes, Salah looked pumped. He was almost like Klopp told him, like, pick your game up the second half now, because he did a few things in that first 10 minutes which really got the crowd up, like Jay just said. But other than that, we didn't. It was just 3 set pieces. It's unbelievable. And the way they destroyed Leeds in the week, I thought, oh my, what is going to happen to us Saturday? But can you honestly think, like, Navas pulled a few worldies mind, and the one player which we know has problems, then again, tends to score always against us, is Jota. He was the pain in the back.
He always scores past us every single time.
New Vidra, isn't he? He's the new Vidra.
Yes, he's the new Vidra.
Yeah. He was just, and gap goal. He didn't do nothing. He did nothing. And to be honest with you, right, the midfield of Liverpool isn't great, right? It's not brilliant. And that, I think, our midfield stuck out yesterday. And we just, us Wi-Fi breaking up a bit.
Yeah, Tony, people in comments, if Stephen's Wi-Fi is breaking up as usual, so if you want any donations or you want to buy this play button to support Dylan's hair and Dylan's Stephen's Wi-Fi, please do. It helps.
I'm the only one that's not been a victim of this play button yet, so I'm waiting. I'm preparing.
Am I back?
You're back now. It's a question.
Unfortunately for you, Stephen, it's a battlefield out here.
You're next, Dave. You're next. People, there's 65 people in
Am I back now? Am I back?
You're back. You're back now. It's Wi-Fi. People in comments, if you want to donate towards the channel, please do, and I will help Steve get a new Wi-Fi because he's still in 1995.
Did it have fiber optic down your end?
String and can.
Put the link in the screen below.
People in the comments, please do help me out, man. Help me out. Let's get some point questions. Like, Matthew Dylan, these 6 games are massive now. Massive. Brighton, Brentford, and we could talk about Dylan. These games are massive, aren't they?
Massive beyond anything. Do you know what I mean? It's like we've got to take one game at a time. We've just come off that Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Losing to Liverpool, they're going to have their heads down, but they should take the positive side of it. So
sorry.
Right. Right, yeah. So, do you know what I mean? We've got to go into every game now. Just take it game by game. Simple as. Do you know what I mean? I watched, and probably most of you did. I watched Southampton against Arsenal. Yeah. And yes, all right, Arsenal buckling a bit, which you expected. But I was watching that Southampton team, and I was thinking to myself, if Forest could show the same amount of spirit as these have, do you know what I mean? They didn't look like they were bottom of the league. Do you know what I mean? But it's criminal that they're 3-1 up. But that's playing against a different side. But yeah, these games we just need to take it game by day. But right, let's get Brighton over and done with. Let's do what we've got to do over them. See them. I think we need 3 points there. Even though they are a good team, we're bringing them to the City ground. Going to make it a fortress. We've managed to beat a team like Liverpool at the City ground. We've managed to draw against a team like Man City. We've had a few results there. So why can't we do it? Do you know what I mean? If they show the fight and desire that they did yesterday, with 30,000 fans, Forest fans behind them, I think they can do it. But they have to go into every game now thinking they're going to win, because you're going to be you're at 6 games now. Before we know it, we've got Brighton and Southampton. We're down to 4 after them 2 games. Do you know what I mean? Are we gonna still be in the same position where we think, a draw or a win can get us out of it? Do you know what I mean? Is it going to start running away from us? So now, regardless who it is, after watching them yesterday, yes, it wasn't a brilliant performance, but that belief, they seem to have added a bit of belief somewhere. Now to have them 2 games at the City ground, we have to make it count. We have to make them 2 games count. If we don't, for me, I think nothing less than 3 points from each of them games will do.
I've got a question, and this is from Long Hair Yeti. Thank you for he's a member as well. If you do want to be a member to the channel, please do hit the $sign. It helps me a lot. Question for guys: should Johnson have started the game against Trent? I think we would have had perfect for the game. Ollie kept Knuti and Van Dijk busy. Jay, that's that one.
I mean, in hindsight, it worked not starting him. But then I suppose it would be impossible to know what it would be starting him. So I think Trent had a really good game yesterday, to be honest. But I don't know, really, to be honest, because I thought we played really well. I really couldn't say. I really couldn't say. It's tough because you're looking at it now and you're thinking, well, we actually played really well against Liverpool. Would it have made it better? I mean, there's a potential that we could have gone and won 4-3 with Brennan Johnson on, but you just don't know. So, yeah, I literally have no idea.
It's a weird one to say, but as well as a question from Ricky. Not only is Corbett better than Fuller, so is O'Brien. Should have stayed.
But they're in different positions, though, aren't they? You're not going to see O'Brien playing in the position that Freuler is. That's my concern now. It's what players do we have to replace him with Yatesy not being there, because you haven't got Chiarte there, So who are you going to? I mean, you've got Cole back there. But I don't see why, maybe not giving him a bit of a chance. But Cooper's going to have his reasons, isn't he?
Splash you, Steve. Like I said, 6 games to go. These games are so important. It's like, and I'm putting it with Steve Cooper as well. Like, when he needs to get wins, because me personally, like I said, I don't care what anyone says. I always get called whatever about I'm a Steve Cooper FC. I'm not a Steve Cooper FC. I'm a Forest fan, but I want Cooper to stay at Forest if we get relegated. What's your opinion on it, Steve? Do you think Steve Cooper he needs to get these wins just to keep us up?
Yeah, he's got to get a win soon, isn't he? And I agree with Dylan. The next 2 home games, the Brentford game is kind of playing a team kind of thereabouts, good team on the day. They got Tony. I mean, that's a difficult game, but it's still a point there if we play well. But these 2 next, I go on record to say, negative or not, if we don't beat Southampton at home, we're down.
We're down. Yep. I've said that. We're down.
We're done. We can't draw. We got to win. We got to win. We got to beat them. I know they played well at Arsenal, but maybe they picked themselves up. And Arsenal are bottling it at the moment. That's a different side. That's a bit of a, different issue. That is at the other end of the league. They're feeling the pressure in a different way. But yeah, this Brighton game is an odd one, because are they going to be deflated now after today? Fatigue.
They're still a good side. They're still a good team. That's the thing.
I think people are banking on it too much, though. I think they're banking on it too much about them being deflated. They've got good depth in that team.
Well, this is what we said earlier. We can't start respecting these teams.
No,
standing up. We have to go in, regardless who it is. Do you know what I mean? Go in, crunching tackles, make them believe. Do you know what I mean? Because if these Forest players want to play in the Premier League next season, do you know what I mean? Now's the time to do the business.
They need to. What I would do with Cooper, right? Me personally, I would do it. I would sit the boys down and make them watch that game against Arsenal and Leicester in the FA Cup last year. We were in the Championship. We didn't have half the depth of squad we got now. You can call it. We got Premier League players now, on big stars. We were a Championship team back then. We beat Arsenal. We beat Leicester, the holders of the FA Cup, and we didn't show them any respect at the City Ground. You should sit them down and say, lads, this is what we got to do. This passion in their face, we got to show them no respect. Arsenal still can't come to our ground, and by then, they may need to win at our place to win the league. Or they may have won the league by then. They may be out of the league by then. We don't know. We got them last but one. We need to take it to the last game as well. If we need to go to Palace and win, we can do it. Because Palace would be on the beach by then, hopefully. But then that's dangerous playing a team like that with no pressure. But sometimes they don't care. It's one of the things. But this Brighton game, we got to take that first. But that Brighton team, like Jay just said, they got good strength and depth. They got some good players. They are a proper team.
Before we've got like another 5 minutes to go, I want to say thank you very much for Dutch for being a member to my channel. If you can email me or message me on Twitter or Instagram, please do. I do appreciate everyone who are members to the channel. Matt, soon, I think this week or next week, I'm going to do a show for members only to come on the show. So if you are a member, message me on Twitter, Instagram, or email me, please do. Jay, I just said to the lads about 6 games to go. Can we do it? People in the comments, can we do it? Can we do it? I'm like I said, I don't want to be like, yes, we're not in the bad. We're not, away form's not great. I don't want to keep bashing the players and being negative, because I'm not going to be negative. We were good yesterday. Set pieces were just not great. Can we do it, Jay? Can we do it? People in the comments, can we do it?
Of course we can do it. There's 24 points to play for. And realistically, you need about 7 to 10 on average. And who knows? You might only need 3 or 4. It's just about picking up points, and you've got 6 opportunities to do that. And I would say that there is definitely points in there, and whether it's 3 wins or whether it's 1 win and a few draws, there's points available, and there is a lot to play for. And we just need a positive attacking outlook in these last few games. We need to give it everything, because, and you know what? I will just say it was refreshing to see that in the last 10 or 15 minutes, Cooper switched to a 3-4-3 and packed it out and was attacking for that last section of the game. We fought really well, and all the lads that came on, they fought really well, and that's what we need to see more of in these last 6 games. So, is it possible? Absolutely, mathematically, we just need to keep that mentality. So, I still believe we can do it. Absolutely.
Dylan, can we do it? Yes or no? Be honest.
I have hope. I don't. It's hard. Do you know what I mean? Because we've gone. How many games is it now? 10, 11, 12. Is it without a win?
10.
Well, it's even more because
I think it's 11. I think 11.
11. Anyway, 11 games without a win. Do you know what I mean? It's just the fight. Do you know what I mean? Now it's. I keep banging on about it. Do you know what I mean? I think the Brighton game now. If we come away from that Brighton game and go, yes, that was the game. That is the game. That's what we want to see. Do you know what I mean? Take that Liverpool, the mentality from that Liverpool into that game. We walk away from that, saying yes, they fought, and hopefully we win. But if we walk away, I believe if we walk away from that Brighton game and we just walk away and go, oh, what are they doing? Do you know what I mean? There's no fight there again. Do you know what I mean? They're deflated. Then me personally, I think it's done. As well as the Southampton game. You get to the Southampton game, if they play like that, if they play
if we lose Southampton, we're down.
Yeah, but you got to look at the Brighton game as well. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Even Brighton are good. I don't care. They are good. Do you know what I mean? But anyone's beatable in this league. Do you know what I mean? And we've got to make these count now. City ground. We've got 3 home games to go. We've got Brighton, we've got Southampton, and we've got Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? Brighton and Southampton, we need to do the job. And maybe with Arsenal coming to us, I think, do you know what I mean? They might buckle the league. So if Man City are running away and everyone's going, yeah, Man City's won it, maybe Arsenal's head's dropped.
100%.
You know what I mean?
That's what Steve can we do. I think he said if we lose to Southampton, we're down. But if we get results against Brighton or Brentford, can we do it, Steve?
Yeah, of course we can. And what I'm taking heart from is, it was yesterday. What was really promising, we were still in the game, Ben. After 3-2, we hit the crossbar, and then Taiwo skied it with the overhead. A couple of weeks ago,
if only he scored.
But
if only.
In a couple of weeks ago,
we beat Bournemouth the other time at home.
Yeah. But a couple of weeks ago, we may have lost that 4-5-2. You know what I mean? Liverpool would have gone on and scored a 4th. Then we end up 5-2, and everyone would be looking at the result going, oh, Forest got spanked. Well, in reality, we didn't. But that's what I'm taking heart from, is that we came away 3-2. And like I said, right in the beginning of the video, I'm disappointed, which I never thought I would have been before the game. I was going to be happy with a 3-0. I just move on from that game. But I was expecting maybe 5-6. But to come away 3-2 from Anfield, we got to take that. And maybe the players are not, they may be downhearted, but they are in a good downhearted, if you know what I mean. They go in, sure, we can do it. Not like deflated, as in, just Brighton or no. No, they go into this game, we want to rectify this. We've got to hit them early. And do you know what we need as well in these games? An early goal as well to settle us. Because at the moment, games are going on, and we can either concede in right at the end of the first half or the beginning of the second half. And it's just it's never good to concede a goal in a game, but we seem to be conceding at key times in games, which deflates us. We can't get it back. Like Leeds away, we went 1-0 up, and then we concede. Didn't we concede 2 goals in the first half? Yeah, we did. Right after each other, and it's like, oh, come on, just the heads just dropped. We've got to get that early goal. If we can get early goal on Wednesday and Brighton got to attack, we can use Johnson then, or if he does start, we can attack them and run the counter attack, which I find we're at our best.
Before we go, there's quite a lot of comments to say, and it's a really interesting one from Brian. How you doing, Brian? There will be definitely debated. Defo tired night game, noisy waterfront City ground, Will famous City ground. Brighton 4 points behind Spurs, and they're having a good season. You're making Brighton bigger than they are.
Well, no, Brighton are in Champions League contention. You know, from the journey they've had, they're a massive team, and I would argue they're a much bigger challenge than Liverpool. They've been in better form than Liverpool. You know, they've not got Evan Ferguson. You know, and they're still making it a difficult day for United. So I think they're a really tough team. No reason we can't get points from them, but you've got to respect them.
Yeah, you've got to respect them. Like, we draw Man City. We beat drawn City. We drawn Chelsea. We beat Liverpool at 6th round. We beat Palace. We beat I don't know who else we beat at 6th round.
We beat Leicester, beat Leeds.
Beat Leicester, beat Leeds as well. So there's hope. There is hope. Before we do that, I think there's another question. More. Thursday tricky. We are 6th round. Believe. That's why we are believing. We are believing, people. Got a super chat, and I think this is going towards Stephen's Wi-Fi. 18 months ago, we were nailed for Division 1. Believe. 100%. What we could be talking about playing that team from down the road right now. But it is what it is. Thank you for the £2, and that will go straight to Stephen's Wi-Fi because he's still in 1995 as
is
well.
Can you take the dot? Can you take the dot away between the 1 and 9? That'd be nice.
Yeah, that's what people. If you want to donate, if you want to, watch out for the vlog because there's something special going to happen regarding this play button. So if you do want to buy the play button towards Dylan's hair and Steve's Wi-Fi, well, I can say about something like Jay, but I'm not going to say nothing like Jay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know where that's going. I know where it's going.
You see, we'll save it for the next show. Right, people. It's been a great show.
Ben, sorry, Ben. Jay could buy a Derby top. Jay could need the money to buy his girlfriend a Derby top.
Oh no! Here we go.
Right. Oh yes, but people in the chat.
Oh.
People in the chat. I've got some bad news. This guy next to me, his girlfriend is a Derby fan.
It's
yes.
not. No, come on.
Yeah,
that's not true.
Yeah, people in comments. Get at Jay. Nothing disrespectful, but his girlfriend sports a Derby fan. Do you think she needs to go? Yes or no? Yes or no? Put your thumbs up or thumbs down, people. She's a Derby fan. Yes or no? I'm sorry,
you're a bad man, Ben. You and Stephen, you're bad people.
Who's this guy?
I'm staying out of it.
Can't do that
staying out of it.
I respect you,
out of it.
Dylan's been my best friend throughout this podcast. You two have thrown me under the bus there.
Well, don't blame me. Right, people, it's been a great show. Thank you for Dylan, Jay, and Steve. Like I said, just believe we're not relegated yet. These games are massive. Brighton, Brentford, and Southampton. Tough games, people. If you are new to the channel, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll be back Tuesday at 9:45 for the preview for the we've got Brighton on Tuesday. So I'll be there with a Brighton fan. If you just message me back. But yeah, it's been a pleasure. Steve, Jay, and Dylan, I will sort out your hair. Steve, I will sort your Wi-Fi out. And people in the comments.
Don't you dare. Leave it at that. End the broadcast.
Right.
I think Derby got a sale on in the club shop, I think.
Peace and love, people.
We're having words after this stream, Ben. We're having words after this stream.